What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Me and the Moron podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember to please like, subscribe, listen, share with your friends, listen twice. I'm your host, Phil, along with my host, Tony, in the Gulf of America. How you doing, big guy?
I'm doing great. Just enjoying my winning.
Well, minus, I see you got speaking of winning, I see your New York Rangers attire. Talk to me about that.
I'm in mourning, so I'm wearing this for the death of a season. As this season has now officially died, along with Chris Kreider's play. So I'll be wearing this for the remainder, just mourning.
This is a common thing for Rangers fans around this time of year, right?
It's an 8-point swing they could have had this weekend. Instead, they lost both games.
Yeah.
Both games, they had leads, and both games they lost.
Yeah, well, I saw Columbus last night. I didn't watch the game, but I saw a 7-3, 7-2.
Yeah, Jonathan Quick gave up 7 goals on 4 shots.
But why would they? He should play for Pittsburgh. Why would they play Quick? He's been great. I love him, but
they played Igor the day before.
Oh,
they played Igor the day before against a team we were tied with in Ottawa. And we had a 2-goal lead in the third period and blew that game and lost in overtime.
Yeah.
So it's the Ranger way.
You guys can rebuild now.
Yeah. And I said last night, I wish they would lose 5 in a row so we could just end this charade of a season.
Right.
You got people still going, there's 20 games left, we're only 2 points out. Like, please just lose. Please. No one wants to see them get swept in round 1.
Right. Yeah. Like, what are you trying to make the playoffs for?
Right. And then because if they make the playoffs, people will say, they were good enough to get in. You don't have to change much. I want them to finish last so the whole team gets fired.
Mm-hmm.
So.
What else has happened? Anything what's the current state of Florida? Have you been doing anything?
Nah, nothing really. Just riding a little bit on the bike. Had a little bit of a bad storm today, working on the condo, doing some work, Nothing,
Beautiful.
Just living the dream. Had some friends here last week, went out this weekend for a couple of drinks with the lovely Ellen, and that's it.
Awesome.
Enjoying the dream.
That's good. So let's get into it. I know it's been a while since we last talked a week ago. It feels like so much is happening.
Oh, you have no idea.
The world's collapsing. So Donald Trump, I'll start us off. As a candidate, Donald Trump promised an economic boom like we've never seen before. And unfortunately for us, boom means 1.7 trillion lost in the stock market.
And 2.7 trillion just found. Well, not found, but we don't know where it is. $2.7 trillion. I just looked it up on Snopes. It says it was supposed to be allocated for Medicaid and Medicare that never went to either. And the initial report was that it was sent overseas. But now I looked it up and Snopes says, yes, the money's missing, but no, we can't verify if it went overseas. That's 8% of our national debt that's just missing. No one knows where it is.
Yeah.
$2.7 trillion. No one knows where it is.
Well, the Pentagon, failing 7, 8 audits in a row, there's no accounting for anything. And unfortunately, the military is a big problem. No, we've talked about that.
The military budget is out of control. There's not even another country that has anywhere close to our military. There's no reason to keep spending that kind of money.
Well, imagine how efficient we'd be if we weren't wasting, like if it wasn't going to waste.
Yeah.
And we had policies like, use it or lose
We've
it.
talked before about like this Doge department finding millions versus billions, whatever. I don't care if they find $10,000. That's great. I don't care what it is, but $2.7 trillion? Nobody knows where it is. How do you misplace $2.7 trillion? I'm reading the article today. Let me see what it said. It's here. This was a breaking story. 2.7 trillion in Medicare and Medicaid funds have been sent overseas, we believe, to ineligible recipients. That's 8% of the national debt of the United States. So now the story is, well, no, it hasn't gone overseas, just no one knows where it is. I don't know. And then how do people are against this? How are people against, turning all of this over, opening these doors and finding out where the fuck our money is?
Well, people are not against that. They're against the way that it's happening with, the chainsaw approach to it isn't the right way because there's been big mistakes that have happened, like firing all the people that are in charge of our nuclear weapons and stuff of that nature.
Yeah, but we did the same nonsense for fucking shots. If you don't get the shot, you lose your job. Military personnel will let go. Nurses, doctors, you refuse to get the shot, you're fired. Now we find out 4 years later you never needed the shot. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I don't care whose door you got to kick in. Kick that motherfucker in and find our money.
Well, circling back to the stock market real quick, S&P fell by 6.5% in the first 50 days of Trump's term. The NASDAQ, 11% decline. The Dow Jones decreased 3.5%. So we're probably facing a recession. You know, prices are going up. He didn't solve the egg thing like he said he would. Like, just things are way above his head that his campaign tongue has just vomited out.
Well, I also think a lot of it has to do with the tariffs and stuff now, too. Yeah. The world is in a panic. I mean, you know, although I do agree with the tariffs in a sense, like, why is Canada getting away with? You look at the shit Canada has tariffed us on, it's like 6 times the percentages that we've tariffed their goods. So, like today, I don't know if you heard, I know you were busy all day, that China has now slapped Canada with 100% increase on their tariffs. 100%. They're going to double the cost for Canada to do business in China. Like, I don't understand why, again, I know it puts the stock market into a shock when we upset other countries and trade, with, you know, which is the tariffs. But I do believe in the long run, it will pay off for this country. That you have to make other countries pay for wanting to do business here in the United States. We do. Nobody lets the U.S. do business anywhere for free. No one. We pay the highest tariffs in the world in any other country that we want to do business in. But yet we go to hit them over the head with the same tariffs and like, oh my God, we're the worst country on earth.
You know, but tariffs, you know, the last time it was tried is the famous Ferris Bueller scene where it's like, anyone,
yeah.
And it didn't work, and it just sank us into a depression.
I'm saying is like, but it is proven that countries are doing business in the United States and charging us literally triple what we're charging them to do business in our country. I don't understand why, because Canada's smaller than us, so we give them a break. They don't give us a break. We're paying 3 times as much in tariff costs to Canada. And I don't know the exact numbers, but it's something like the business we do with Canada is like 1/16 of our national trade. 1/16. The business they do with us is like 2/3 of their economy. Well, so you want to play games with us, I mean, your country is going to crumble.
Canada, you know, it's a shame. Canada is one of our best friends, right? They have been obviously economic trade partners with us, right?
But not fair economic trade partners.
They're our largest trading partners, right? 1.8 billion in goods. They are our largest supplier of oil.
Yes, but here you just said we supply them. They're our largest trade partner. Everything we supply them with, they're hitting us with tariffs 3 times what we charge them to what we import from them. That can't fly. Why? Why are we giving Canada a break? So our citizens are paying more, theirs are paying less. Well, it makes no sense to me. So Trump says level the playing field. He's the worst guy on earth. Now, all of a sudden, you got China saying the same thing. No more. We're going to double the tariffs. 100% increase today on Canadian imports.
China, you know, you can't do business in China without giving up your IP. Like, they will steal your intellectual property. They will steal. I can't believe we've allowed them to make microchips. We've given them so much intelligence.
Over the years, it's crazy.
Yeah, just because we want things made for 10 cents an hour.
Exactly. It's true. But my point is, Phil invented, this bourbon that you're drinking. You want to sell it over there. Good luck. It's like a 60% tariff. They keep 60% of your money to do business there. Then they do business here. It's like a 5% tariff. They keep 95. We get 5. It's got to be the same thing. I mean, we talked about that too with the UN. We've discussed that already about why are we footing the bill for the whole world? Why does every member of UN combined pays 1/3 of what the United States pays?
Well,
combined.
I didn't look it up, but is our economy that much bigger than all of theirs? Probably.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we have 338 million people, but it's still, my point is, but we're funding the world. It shouldn't be that way.
And
we're funding the world.
It because it's beneficial for us to have those partners.
But not financially. But not. It's getting to a point where I saw a thing today. It said if you go to Portugal, you can own a home, live on the beach, eat out 7 days a week for under $1,500 a month, It's considered the 5th safest country on earth to live in. Our kids can't get a studio in a basement for $1,500 a month.
But you can't make any money over there. Same thing. I would live in Italy right now if we can make a living. I think it's a much better place to live.
My point is other countries that we're protecting, their kids are living great. Our kids are living in basements at 40 because they can't afford an apartment.
No,
Something has to give.
I don't think their kids are living great. Italy, we go every so often. Any city outside of the major cities, Milan, Rome, there's populations are crumbling and the kids are fleeing to the big cities. There's no money. It's so hard to make money there because of their government and the corruption around all that.
But there are affordable places you can go in Europe to live. You can go to certain places and live, comfortably.
Yeah, you just won't be comfortably. You could be a farmer anywhere, I guess. Yeah, sure.
No, if you have a job doing this, you work on a computer all day where you can do from any location. Ellen works for a New York company and she lives in Florida. If you can work on a computer and still get paid, you can go to any one of these European countries and live very, very comfortably. Our kids can't survive here. Your son will never own a home in New York, ever.
I probably can't rebuy in New York.
Exactly. That's my point. It's insane. And then when we try to level the playing field with the world, we're the worst people on earth. The worst people on earth. Another note, as far as leveling the playing field with the world, so the whole Zelensky thing, have you had a chance to see what the Italian prime minister said?
I did not.
So she, today was like a press conference in Italy, not our war, not our soldiers, and not our money. Fight your own war. She won't participate. And then the long-term member of the British Parliament gave a speech Friday, about maybe we ought to take a page out of the Trump book and start worrying about the United Kingdom more than anywhere else. How about putting England first, he said. How about we have hordes of Muslim men, he said, in the United Kingdom that have raped women left and right and not been held accountable for it. The country now has an influx of Muslim population that has overtaken the streets in the United Kingdom, but we're bashing Trump for saying he has to put America first before any other nation. So I think maybe some other countries are starting to realize the same thing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with saying, yeah, no thanks, we're not interested. Fight your own wars.
Yeah, until Russia comes over the European border into Poland and Germany, and then, that's the slippery slope they're in. And I know one guy can have a bullhorn and talk bullshit.
No, I get it. I'm just saying, but I think people are starting to wake up to the fact that not every country can afford to just take care of every smaller country. You know what I mean? Like Ukraine, yes, I get the point of you want to have allies that are not communist, but at some point, certain countries have to just understand that you can't win. You're not going to win this war. You're not going to win. Give concessions. Russia has to give concessions too.
Behind them, they'd win it.
Yeah, but at our cost. Why are we paying for their war? I don't want to anymore. And a lot of people are saying the same thing around the globe. They don't want to foot the bill either.
We're paying for that war because a smaller Russia and a bigger democratic European Union is better for the United States than not.
Except here at home.
How is this war affecting you? We can't afford it. We can't afford it.
We can't afford it.
Guess what? We've given Elon Musk's company, we've given Tesla as big of a subsidy as we've given Ukraine money. Okay, so if we have money for this fucking genius, richest man in the world to build his fucking cars, defending democracy in Europe isn't a huge task for me.
As long as everybody, I agree on that. We shouldn't be giving these private companies this kind of money either. But Starlink, I get it. I'm not a believer in it, but I get the premise. We're destroying this planet, and in 100 years we'll never see it, but in 100 years there'll be life on other planets. We'll be able to colonize other planets. Great idea. Except it's costing $5 trillion to do it. But we got, things here in the United States. We have more and more people that can't afford a home, that don't know where their next meal's coming from. You can't even buy a used car today. Used cars are almost as expensive as a new car.
But those problems, which I completely agree with everything you just said, are not caused by funding of defending Ukraine. They are caused by our corrupt politicians
Oh,
who
absolutely.
can't account for any of this money that they're taking from us because guess what? They're stealing it from us.
By hundreds of billions of dollars across the board.
Yes.
Across the board, there's billions of dollars.
Now, firing employees that work for the government size is actually one of the lowest averages in the United States that it has ever been. Like we're
as far as what, an employer, you mean? The number of employees?
Yeah, under the federal government paycheck. So it's not like it's ballooned to some astronomical number. It's actually at a pretty low average compared to our history. But, so he's just firing all these people in the name of saving money, but that's not where the savings is going to come from.
Well, the savings is going to come when we hang politicians.
Yeah. One rock lifted on the military budget, and everybody's heads would explode of the savings.
How about, I'm saying like today, $2.7 trillion, not billion, $1 trillion that should have gone into Medicaid for seniors is just missing. Not misplaced, not got paid to somebody. No one knows where it is. It's just missing.
What really bothers me about the Musk thing is, he has taken a lot of money from the government for funding Tesla. Now his government contracts with SpaceX. Now he is.
But he did say, because somebody else questioned him about that when he said about, funding the Ukrainians like $100 billion. Somebody said, well, the government gave you $100 billion for SpaceX. And he said, yeah, but I can account for the money. I can show you down to the dime where my money went.
They said they can account for it, too.
Right. Well, I want to see it. I want to see it. Do you agree? The other day there was a poll on TikTok about polling Americans. Do you think that our government should audit the money that we've given to the Ukraine? Should we get an audit of where every penny that's gone to the Ukraine is?
But Zelensky said it's accounted for.
Right. Well, I'd say, but should we see it? Should
I don't care.
Like, what's her name? Warren, the Pocahontas, said there's a statement that she said which is baffling to me, how her constituents or people that voted for her can ever elect her again, when she said the American citizen, the common taxpayer who's not an elected official, really has no business seeing our books. It's our money.
Yeah.
It's our money. What do you mean? We should be allowed to see the books more than anybody. It's our cash.
Yeah, I completely agree. I didn't hear that statement, but if she said that, that's crazy. So Elon Musk, not an American, by the way, he's a South African, right?
That's why leftists hate him, because he's from Africa.
Yeah, we're known for hating him. So he's taken $100 billion in subsidies and grants and this and that. And now we've sent the richest man in the world in, unobstructed, to fire and cut anybody he sees fit, right? And now he is firing the people and in the departments that regulate his companies, right? So his Neuralink, he wants to put chips in people. He fired a whole department of people that regulated the fact that he could or couldn't do that.
He also wants to come out with a cell phone or something now, apparently, that will do away with the iPhone and an Android phone. Like it's the super phone or something, to monopolize that market. Same
thing with the department that regulates autonomous cars that he's trying to have out there. With the safety regulations, he just wiped out a whole department. He shouldn't be allowed to go in with a chainsaw firing people that are doing things regulating his companies, right?
Right.
They should be off limits.
But we also should have some accountability. Like, if this guy is appointed by the president, his company or his department, and asks you to give me 5 sentences on what you do, like, it was a funny thing. Some woman went on a talk show crying about, it was on the Jon Stewart show, crying about that she's going to lose her job over this not responding to Elon's email about what she does for her position. And then Jon Stewart said, well, you had time to get ready to come on to a talk show, but you couldn't answer 5 questions in an email. Like, that type of mentality, like, we're not going to do it because Musk said so. Like, if you can't account for what you do every day, then you need to lose your job.
But even the problem is, that email, shouldn't have come from him. He should have told the head of the department.
That department, and then have it forwarded to him.
Because there's reports now that there was a huge screaming match in the Oval Office with, I forget which, Rubio right?
Yeah,
That
they
Marco.
said Trump squashed that already. All three of them said that never took place, and then Trump called out the reporter in public. It was just Friday.
Yeah, I
and
trust
he said
Trump.
you like to no, the reporter that was there when he said it. He said you just like to stir up shit, you know. So who knows? He said there was no rift. He said they said the rift was between Rubio and Musk, not Trump. But Trump said I was actually there, and so were you. He told the reporter. He said, and you're just stirring up shit. And then that was kind of the end of the, you know, nothing else has been reported about it since. So
I read a pretty big, you know, detailed transcript of the back and forth, and it's just that, you know, and then now Trump at that meeting apparently said Elon is in charge, but he has to go through the department heads now. So no longer can he
which it should be.
them.
Which it should be. I mean, that's the way it should be.
So if he did that to Rubio, who went to his managers and said, hey, find out what everybody's working on, you know, that's one thing. But for just the richest man in the world, I question whether he's in for our interest or his, I got to tell you, in the end of 4 years, he's going to come out richer, not us. I promise you that.
Just like Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, he got enriched from it.
No, not at all. He doesn't own stock in all those pharmaceutical companies. No, not at all. Not at all.
I don't think so.
He made 25 trillion people, 25 trillion vaccines. He didn't get rich. Not at all. No, he's living in a double wide somewhere.
No, he's not. He's like Warren Buffett is in a Subaru.
Yeah, sure he is.
Getting McDonald's every morning.
So I wanted to touch base too about. Did you see the address to Congress, the Trump's address to Congress?
Unfortunately, I did.
One of my questions is, when did the left start hating black kids and cancer patients?
Why are you saying this?
Well, why wouldn't they applaud for the black kid who survived cancer? Why did they all sit on their hands and wouldn't even get up? But they will pretend, every one of them, like all of their causes are pretend, they'll pretend they cared about the January 6th cops. The January 6th cops, they didn't get up and applaud for the lady whose son was slain, the police officer that was slain. They would not clap, not a single one of them. They just sat there with their ridiculous signs, like, hold on. They sat there with their ridiculous signs like this one.
That's the ugliest sign I've ever seen. Is he? Who's that?
Hello, Patrick. It's my buddy Pat, by the way, who, congratulations on your retirement, buddy. You're traveling with me. Wherever I go, you're coming with me.
I've never known somebody that deserved it less.
But, so, they wouldn't applaud this kid who had brain cancer and has like 15 surgeries, and they made him an honorary Secret Service member. I mean, obviously the kid is, he has some brain damage from all the surgeries and whatnot. Not a single person on the left applauded, would not get up. They just sat there holding up their signs. The mother of the slain police officer they brought up on stage, not a single leftist applauded. But those same leftists will outright pretend that they know a single name of an officer from January 6th or that they actually care about them. Not one of them. They don't give a flying fuck about one of them.
That's not true.
They couldn't get up. They wouldn't get up for the mother of a slain police officer, but they dressed up in African garb and kneeled for 1 minute and 7 seconds for a drug addict named George Floyd, who held a woman at gunpoint while she was raped. They kneeled down for him, but they wouldn't get up for the mother of a slain police officer. When did leftists become the party of hate?
We're not the party of hate. And I think, it's always that you first mentality, right? So I asked you if hitting police officers on January 6th with fucking flagpoles bothered you.
You mean that walk that they did when they walked through?
This horrifying footage of everything that happened on that
Was a police officer killed on January 6th?
They were attacked and then...
Were they killed? There was a police officer shot in the head and killed. His mother was there. Everyone applauded the woman. She's in tears for her son, except the left, because they care so much about the police. And only if it fits their agenda. They only care if it fits their make-believe agenda.
Wouldn't you argue the same thing? Like, why? So I didn't see this part of the speech. So you're saying he used this kid as a prop for what exactly?
No, he made him an honor. The kid wrote him a letter. Apparently, he wrote him that he wanted to be an honorary. I guess the kid knows that he doesn't have long.
It was Make-A-Wish, basically.
Yeah, and that he wanted to be made an honorary Secret Service member. So they brought him up on stage and they put a badge on him and made him, and the whole room applauded, except the entire left side of the auditorium wouldn't even stand up. This is a cancer survivor, who really has some mental issues going on, and because of his brain cancer, wouldn't applaud him. But if he was up on that stage and said he wanted to have his dick cut off, every fucking leftist in that room would have got up and cheered. They would have been applauding. They would have gave him the Medal of Freedom.
Yeah.
They would have pinned it around his neck.
I didn't, I feel bad. I can't defend anything that happened because I didn't see it, so I don't really know what you're talking about.
And then what's his name got censured? The Geico caveman. The guy from the caveman from the Geico commercials got censured and taken out.
How?
And then the next day has the nerve to say he was removed because he's black. I knew it was only a matter of hours before the race card got pulled.
How does he get censored, but the Boebert twin and the fucking blonde cunt screaming during Biden's speeches, nothing happens?
Did Biden ask the Master at Arms to remove them?
No, because we're always playing the adult in the room, and we have these little bitches running, screaming.
So wait, they were playing the adult in the room, the caveman guy, the Geico caveman was playing the adult in the room?
No.
When the Speaker of the House gave him 6 times, asked him to sit down, 6 separate times, said, okay, we've all heard you, please have a seat. And then he still kept carrying on, trying to climb over people. And then he said to the Master at Arms, please remove him from the room, and had him removed. That's it. Yeah. Had him removed. The next day he said he was removed because he's black. And I said, there's the race card we've all been waiting for. We knew that was coming out.
I didn't hear that.
Some more fake black nonsense.
I didn't
like
hear
the rest
that,
of their causes.
The State of the Union used to be a very...
It wasn't State of the Union. It was the address to Congress.
It was supposed to be called the State of the Union. He just didn't call it that because he's a fucking idiot.
No, he called it the address to Congress. Plenty of presidents have done it. He addressed Congress.
He should have called it the campaign rally speech rambles for 90 minutes.
It was fantastic. And everyone on the right applauded,
but
including myself.
Those speeches used to be respected, right? As far as I can remember, I got into politics maybe like 20 years ago, whatever.
Yeah, well, that went out the window about 20 years ago. Both sides hate each other, and there's no mutual respect anymore.
Obama was speaking, and a Republican screamed out, "You lie!" Right?
And Nancy Pelosi ripped up the thing that Trump handed her, the directive.
That's a bold move, yeah.
Well, her teeth fell out because she was hammered because she's drunk every day on our budget while her husband's having hammers shoved up his ass.
So then you get the fucking Boebert twins and what's the stupid blonde? She looks like Dog the Bounty Hunter. Come on. You know her name. Mary Tyler Green something.
No, not Mary Tyler Moore. Mary Tyler Green. No, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know why her name is escaping me right now.
There's one Green. Let me. Marjorie Taylor Green.
Oh, Marjorie Taylor Green.
Marjorie Taylor
Marjorie
Green. This
Taylor,
fucking Dog the Bounty Hunter looking bitch.
Yeah. Like the Geico caveman the other night. The guy looks like fucking his own balls.
So they're screaming out, right, at these State of the Union. Side note, then Boebert gets caught on video giving a hand job and getting her boobs felt in Beetlejuice the musical.
And she's so hot, too.
She's
so hot.
Not that hot.
She's hot. She's hot. I was like, God damn, good for her. And can they release the video?
They did. It's out.
Really?
Oh, you can
see
it.
Oh, I got to look it up.
She's full groped, and she's full crotch grabbing.
I hope she runs for president.
If she should, for campaign funding, give away and ticket to a musical with her. Like,
yes.
You get to go to a musical with her.
Yes. But also, I wanted to touch base on this. I've been dying to touch base on this because it keeps coming up. And I've had people ask me all the time, too, like, what in the fuck is going on with the constant? It's like 10 years. How long is well, it started even before George Floyd. It's got to be a good 8 years now, the uprise of the race war going on in the United States. Like, I thought the race war ended in like the 1980s, and now suddenly we're back to a race war again. Like, the never-ending catering to the minority in this country is absolutely absurd. Like, so I did a little research about countries, the breakdown of ethnicities in certain countries. America seems to me to be the only country in the world, sovereign nation, that caters to the massive minority. Everything is geared today towards the minority in this country. I don't understand why that is. This country is 67% white, yet we cater to the 12% of the population more than anyone else. Like, you've worked your whole life. Has your government ever given you anything for free?
No, but there's our people have historically, it's been easier to get loans at banks. It's been easier to get into colleges. It's been easier to get a better education. So it's those things that
But, let me give you this example. And this is something my dad, who, I mean, thank God he's gone because I had no relationship with that man. But he did say something that made sense to me once. Like, he was a New York City garbage man, came from an awful neighborhood in Brooklyn, and worked with a guy on his truck, a black gentleman on his truck, who, same amount of years on the job, they both made the same money, city employees, to the penny. Why was he able to leave that shithole neighborhood and move his family out to the suburbs? And then 15 years later, the guy in his truck is still complaining about that he's raising his family in the projects. Well, maybe you shouldn't be driving a Cadillac. Maybe you shouldn't have on, $400 sneakers, but then complaining that you can't get out. Like, my dad drove a $200 car to work so that we could have a house. I mean, to me, it's all about priorities. It's all about priorities. It's not about we can get more that they... In 2025 America, there is not one single thing. There's nothing that a white guy can do that a black guy cannot do. Nothing. Except maybe say Happy Father's Day, Dad, or thanks, officer.
Well, but there is still huge issues with race where you hear those stories very recently in the last couple of years of somebody trying to get their house appraised, a black family, and they have their family photos around the house, and it gets like lowballed. Then they wipe the house of all the black photos, put white photos in there. They have a friend come in, put his family photos, and suddenly it appraises for $100,000 more.
Yeah, that's
insane.
That shit's that's still insane.
Happening.
But, it's just. But my point is that, like, our government, though, I'm just saying, the government. Don't you think this country was founded by white, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant, and Christian people? It's a predominantly white, massively white country. Why are we constantly catering to the minority when that means 67% of the income in this country is coming from one populace? Don't you think we should be catering more to that populace than the minority? Like, you're the minority. This is the way it is. You don't like it. Go to a country where you're the mass populace. To me, I find it absolutely ridiculous that everything we do, down to commercials today, everything caters to the minority.
Are you mad that we have Little Italy in New York City?
No.
Why? We're a minority.
What? We're not a minority.
Italians?
We're white.
Dude.
We're white.
Not when my grandfather came to this country, we were not considered white.
No, we weren't. In the 20s and 30s. Yeah, my grandparents also. We were looked at as minorities, but so were the Irish when they came here, even before the Italians. But that's not happening today. We're not getting mass migration from Africa. We're not, you know what I'm saying? 12% of the population is responsible for 52% of the murder in this country and makes up 35% of the prison population. That's the group that we're catering to the most.
You can't blame really on the prison population because we control that, and that the courts have been proven to be very biased, right? So there's still a lot of problems. So yeah, I get your point. Like, yeah, majority rules. That's the country you want to live in. But you're really overlooking a lot of the baseline problems that we have with race and with, things being unfair.
Listen, there's always going to be race problems in any country. I don't care what the race is. Whatever the minority is, there's always going to be a problem. They're always going to be stepped on by the majority. But my point is, like, it's literally being force-fed to us. Force-fed. There's not a single thing you can't turn on a sporting event. Now we have a black national anthem. Are you fucking American? We have an American national anthem. Why do we need to play a black national anthem at sporting events?
We have one of those? I don't even know.
Yeah, they played it at the Super Bowl. Before they played that, and then they played the American national anthem. Like, are you fucking kidding me? We need a black national anthem? Are they singing it from prison? It's fucking ridiculous to me. This has gone overboard. There's not a television commercial that you can watch where the dad's not black, the mom's Chinese, and the kid is Hispanic. Like, what the fuck is going on? It's insane.
It is very diverse.
It's
in
ridiculous.
Commercials.
It's ridiculous. Apparently in 2025, being white is illegal. in this
Well-
country. So, and I think these are the things that people have had fucking enough of, and this is why someone like Trump gets in office.
Yes.
People have had enough of this ridiculous nonsense that's going on in this country, catering to the 1% of the population that's transgender, catering to the 12% of the population that's responsible for most of the crime. Like, how about cater to the people that are the majority and not committing crime? That's his audience, and that's how he won.
Well, you know what? Whites commit most of the crimes, and whites are on mostly food stamps and welfare.
We're 60, because 67% of the country is white.
Yeah, but I bet you if you break it down based on population, with those percentages involved, we still win.
No, I don't think so. 12% of the population is responsible for 52% of the murder in this country.
I don't want to make this the rumor podcast. We'll have to fact check this next
You
time.
fact check it. I've done it. I wore that shield and that vest. I know all about it.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Me and the Moron podcast. Unless you look like you have something else you want to say.
Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Is it Father's Day? I don't know. Mine's a deadbeat too.
But I could celebrate it.
All right. Well, thank you. Please subscribe, share, watch it, listen to it. You keep listening. We keep growing, and we'll keep doing. Thanks for tuning in.
God bless America.
And Republicans.
Ciao. All right, kid.